Hey everyone, and welcome back to Malaysia in Focus, where we break down the stories shaping our nation. Today, we're talking about something that hits close to home for millions of us, your university degree. Because it turns out, the piece of paper you worked so hard for might be promising you a future that our economy just isn't ready to deliver, and we've got the numbers to prove it.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at what the official numbers say, the supposed success story. Then, we'll peel back that layer and talk about the gaji cukup makan trap that so many people are stuck in. After that, we'll ask the big question, where are all the good jobs? And finally, we'll wrap up with what this all means for the future of your degree. All right, let's dive in.
Graduation day. Look at this. For so many of us, this is the big dream, right? It's that finish line after years of, all those late nights, the stress of exams, the sacrifices you and your family made. This moment, it's supposed to be the launch pad, the start of a great career, a stable life, financial security. That's the promise of higher education, isn't it?
And you know what? If you just look at the official numbers, it really seems like that promise is being fulfilled. On the surface, the data paints this, incredibly rosy picture for graduates in Malaysia.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the supply. We are producing a lot of graduates. Just look at how the number has been climbing. Back in 2015, we had about 290,000 graduates. Fast forward to 2023, and that number shot up to almost 374,000. And on paper, that sounds fantastic, right? More educated people joining the workforce. What could be wrong with that? And here's the kicker. It looks like the system is actually absorbing them all. The official employability rate for graduates, it's been consistently high. We're talking above 80%, sometimes even hitting 90% in recent years. So you've got more graduates than ever, and pretty much all of them are finding jobs. It looks like a massive success story. Case closed, right? Well, this is where things get complicated. Because if the numbers look this good, then why do so many young graduates feel like they're just stuck? Like they're just treading water? Why does the reality on the ground feel so completely different from this official story?
Right. This is exactly where we need to look past the shiny headlines. Because the real story here isn't about if our graduates are getting jobs. No, it's about what kind of jobs they're landing.
And that brings us to a phrase that, honestly, I'm sure many of you know all too well. Gaji cukup makan. It's that salary that, it pays the bills, it covers your rent, your food, you get by. But there's nothing left. You're never really getting ahead, are you? No savings, no investments, no building a real future. It's that feeling of being permanently stuck in first gear.
Okay, get ready for this because this next number, it changes everything. Out of all the employed graduates in Malaysia, all those people with degrees, what percentage do you think are actually in skilled jobs? Jobs that need that degree? The answer is just 30%. 30! That means a staggering 70%. 7 out of every 10 graduates are working in semi-skilled or even low-skilled jobs. Just let that sink in for a second. 7 out of 10 people. People who invested years of their life and a lot of money into getting a degree are ending up in jobs that don't even require one. We're talking about jobs in the service industry, food delivery, basic admin work. Now, let me be very clear. These are absolutely vital jobs that keep our country running. But they are not the high-skilled, high-paying careers that a university education is supposed to prepare you for.
Look, if this breakdown is starting to give you that aha moment and a clearer picture of what's really going on, do us a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps us keep digging deep into Malaysia's biggest issues, so you can always stay ahead of the curve.
There's actually an official term for this whole situation. It's called underemployment. It basically means, you have a job, but it's a job that's way below your skill and education level. And the consequences, they're huge. We're talking lower wages for everyone, a massive waste of talent and potential, and that absolutely crushing feeling that all those years of studying, maybe they didn't really pay off. So that naturally leads to the million-dollar question. Why? Why is this happening? We clearly have the skilled, educated people, so where are the skilled jobs? Well, the answer isn't simple. It's actually a deep structural problem baked into our economy. When you boil it all down, it's a classic case of supply and demand gone wrong. We have this huge, ever-growing supply of graduates, but our economy, it's just not creating enough demand for their skills. This chart here really lays it all bare. It shows us where the jobs are actually coming from. And check this out, almost half,
47.1% of all labor demand is driven by government consumption. In simple terms, that's public sector jobs. Now look at the private sector: investment, exports, the parts of the economy that are supposed to be the real engines of growth. They're lagging way, way behind.
So, to put it really simply, our job market is leaning super heavily on the government to soak up workers. Meanwhile, the private sector, the place where all the innovation and high-skilled job creation is supposed to happen, it's just not growing fast enough to keep up with the flood of new graduates every single year.
So here's the bottom line, the real takeaway. We've got a supply-side success story. We're creating more educated Malaysians than ever before. But that success is crashing into a demand-side failure. Our economy just isn't built to create enough high-quality jobs for the very people we've spent decades educating.
Okay, so where does that leave us? Where do we go from here, and what does this all mean for the future value of that degree you have or the one you're working towards? Well, it's clear we need a massive shift in how we think about this. We have to stop focusing on the quantity of graduates we're turning out and start focusing, really focusing, on the quality of the jobs they land. Because the cost of not fixing this, it's huge. We're talking about the value of a university degree just eroding away. It's a colossal waste of our country's best and brightest minds. It keeps wages down for an entire generation. And at the end of the day, it's a major loss for our whole country's ability to grow and innovate. The report that all this data comes from puts it perfectly, and I want you to really hear this quote. It says, "It's time to shift from managing graduate output to transforming graduate outcomes." What does that mean? It means the goal can't just be about printing more degrees anymore. The real goal has to be building an economy where those degrees actually mean something, where they lead to real, meaningful, high-skilled careers. Hey, thanks so much for watching and sticking with us through this deep dive. If you're one of those people who wants clarity, not confusion, on the big issues shaping our country, then join the thousands of others who feel the same way. Tap that like button, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of all this together. So we'll leave you with this one final thought. We have an entire generation of Malaysians that is more educated, more driven, and more ambitious than ever before. The question is no longer about whether they're ready. The real question is about us as a country. Are we ready to build an economy that can finally live up to their ambitions? I'd love to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.